Welcome to Auntie K's Tarot, your favorite radical queer Indigenous auntie, bringing you tarot every day. Hello everyone and welcome to Auntie K's Tarot. You are joining me today at the end of my day. I've freshly bathed and turned down my bed and braided my wet hair so it will dry into some nice waves for tomorrow. And when I started this day, I thought to myself, I'm going to try and put together video clips throughout the day and make a bit of a vlog. And some of my work week was slow, so I thought I might get to it, but then it got really busy today, so I only got to part of it. But just the same, I'm really glad I did, because it brings me to the topic of today's video, which is a 6-month catch-up. 4 or 5 months ago in November, I made a video called A Witch Lives Here, and it was a video I made 1 month after moving in here, and I was in a good mood and in a witchy mood because I was making a video called A Witch Lives Here, and I unexpectedly it had some verbal vomit, emotional vomit about the people I'd been living with for 2 years, thinking we were going to make a land trust. And discovering along the way that they were neither activists nor spiritual people, nor anarchists, like they had led me to believe. And they did lead me to believe that. And then played really catchy word games afterwards, being like, well, we never said that's what we believed. Okay, but you showed up in all those spaces and befriended people like me from those spaces and participated in things with people like me from those spaces. But I'd been so excited when I moved there, thinking that I was moving in with a spiritual activist friend, and that we were going to do witchy things together, other than shopping. She totally took me along for all her very cool witchy shopping that I couldn't really afford to participate in, especially not to the degree she participated in. Would have been cool if I could. Anyway, thinking we were going to do these things together and then discovering it was all superficial, was a real blow to my spiritual practice. I maintained the basics. I obviously spoke with spirit every day. I did it as part of my work, and so basic upkeep for my work also occurred. And there was so much I was missing and craving, and it didn't have the same feeling doing it by myself. And I know some of you are solitary practitioners, and obviously there is a large portion of my daily practice as solitary, but it is fed by the non-solitary parts, like full moon's coming up this weekend and we're having a full moon feast. Those parts feed my weekly routine, and I've really gotten to experience and appreciate that since moving here. And my routine has increased and increased, and here we are 6 months in, and it's back, and I would say stronger than ever. Last time it was this strong, my Book of Shadows had a few pages in it, and I had most of what's in my Book of Shadows I had already but not organized and easy to find. So now my practice has a lot more flow to it. It's way more on schedule, and I love that. So let's talk about the daily routine. I got up, walked the dog. My new schedule of being on the hotlines from 9 to 5 means that my Indigenous neighbor who lives in the apartment building across from me, we cross paths in the morning and have a small little chat that is very slowly getting to know each other a little bit better. And I'm quite excited about that. Not all my neighbors, like me, to the same degree. I, after walking the dog, took out the spirit plate to the crossroads, and I had a bit of a chance to say more words at the crossroads. A lot of times I have to rush back to the sidewalk and finish saying whatever I need to say there on the sidewalk. But I had a moment in the road before any cars came. Not before people came, but before any cars came. And I came in and I smudged the house, and I got set up for work and pulled the cards, my altar cards. And we will pause me for a moment here because I do believe I read a bit from my altar cards today, which we can pop up in here, I hope. I claim the power of my mastery with integrity, confidence, and a weathered self-reliance. I have earned by my own standards access to relentless joy. I know what I know. And does this ever seem to fit the message? I'm claiming it. And then work started off with a bang. And it took most of the morning to get the floors swept and mopped in between calls. But that was all done by noon. And it was time for Thursday's abundant sandwich. And I also took the time to give thanks to Jupiter and other spirits of expansion and abundance and luck and goodwill. Not all the spell work I do is requesting something of spirit. I also use my daily correspondences to give thanks and honor and to the spirits. I do that with a spirit plate. I do that with my morning prayers, but making specific offerings throughout the week when I'm asking so much seems the right thing to do. And so I did those things and I got back to work. Near the end of the workday, the parcel I had been waiting for arrived, and that was my Manitoba mucklucks. And if it hadn't been raining, I would have got a picture. But did they ever look good with my red raincoat? And after work, I put on my red boots, my red moccasin boots, and my red spring coat, and my umbrella, and went off down to my nephew's house. And I was stopping in. They had a package for me, and I was also lending them some nail clippers for their dog. And oh, remember, some of my neighbors sometimes see me taking things to the crossroads. Yeah, On my way home, one of my neighbors crossed the street as I was coming up the street in my red moccasins and red spring coat. And then when I passed by, and she crossed back. And I was a little shocked. Like, I've sensed Emma. I sensed from her energy she is not like me. No matter how polite I am, no matter how many times I say hi or acknowledge her or hold a door, that lady does not like me. But like I think it's more. I don't know. I think that lady's scared of me. I get a heavy like Bible thumper vibe from her. So there's that too. So I came back. I made dinner. My kid arrived home from playing with cousins in time to eat dinner, and had a relaxing evening, and you know, turned down beds, made sure dishes were all washed and put away, and settled the house down for the night, and braided my hair. Well, it was still wet after my bath, so it'll be nice and wavy. And that was my day. And all those small little things mattered and felt special. And I'm so thankful to have that back. And sometimes when it feels like those things have become stagnant or disappeared, you just need to boot the losers out of your life. You need to boot the dead weight, the ones who poo-poo spirituality, flash it around for show. I I I I don't even know what's going on there. I don't get it. I don't get rid of the dead weight and watch your spirituality jump back. And sometimes it's about finding your space. Like I really believed in the idea of a land trust, but like if I ever join one again, I won't move to it until it's actually established and I actually know the people and have visited them in their homes several times, not just them in my homes. But I think I'm an urban witch, and I'm going to thank Kelly AnnMaddox for that. And I think it was hard to accept I was an urban witch because as an urban Indigenous person, it is sometimes hard to be like, there's an imposter syndrome for urban Indigenous people to be like, we're enough. We are enough. And I am enough. And spirituality has always been urban for me. When I left my scoop home at 15, yes, I went off to an activist action on the res. It was interacting with res people, but with urban Indigenous people brought me to the res. Like I didn't just show up there all by myself. They brought me to the res and brought me back, and they were my main connection. They're the ones who I say re-raised me because I was 15 when I left my scoop home, and they re-raised me politically, spiritually, and spiritually in a lot of ways, in traditional Indigenous ways, but also introducing me to astrology and then to tarot, and this happened in urban communities, and the joy of finding nature when you live in an urban space is special. Whether you've backpacked from your urban environment to some secret nature pocket, on the outskirts or buried in the center of your city somewhere or whatever, or wherever it is, it's beautiful and special. And to find a little tiny piece of nature, whether it's a 10 by 10 square or 100 by 100 foot square of green space, and having ceremony there is surrounded by the concrete, and this tiny bit of nature is also beautiful. the spirit of buildings and what people have created, and the energy that's passed by all those streets. And I'm thankful for that insight, and to see that and to accept that on a dual level for myself. I can be an urban indigenous witch. I can. I can be all of those things. I am all of my genetics. And so this is my 6 month A Witch Lives Here catch up, and I am living it here.